Hi, I'm Brett Parker, multimedia specialist for snack food and wholesale bakery. And today we're focusing on Culti, who has taken their popping boba beyond beverages and into a variety of different snack treats, becoming one of the fastest growing ingredients in food service. Here to discuss this is Niels Sheda, Director of Marketing for Zentis. Niels, thank you so much for joining us today.
Brett, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to talk to you about all things popping boba, where it's been and where it's going.
Can you actually tell us what inspired you to take popping boba beyond just beverages and into other snack categories?
Yes, absolutely. The story for popping boba for us and for Culti specifically started actually a while ago. Um, our company Zentis has been making popping boba in Europe for the last 12 plus years. And about 2.5 years, one of our US customers asked us to bring it over to the US. What we quickly realized was to find more customers and to see growth in this category, popping boba, we needed a brand to reflect this unique ingredient that reflects their playfulness, the Instagrammability, and really the variety of what you can do with it. And hence, Culti was born and has been successfully around and entering the market here in the US. Now, to your question, we all probably know popping boba more um, from the tea segment, from beverages, bubble teas. That's kind of where this ingredient comes from. And it's maybe also important to tell the viewers here the difference of popping boba to tapioca boba. So what we're talking about today on the show is popping boba. So usually it's a sphere filled with a liquid that can be, for example, be a fruit juice or caramel or chocolate or anything like that. And when we eat it or drink it, it will pop and you will have the flavor experience that is unique to popping boba. The way that we've known it is from beverages, what we started about 2.5 years ago to show the variety of applications that you can use boba for. And that can be on ice cream, on soft serve, gelato, but also on bakery items. For example, we've used it with cheesecake and other innovations. So we've seen it actually as something to make known products and lovable food even more exciting and add a new layer of innovation to it.
So you kind of just touched down there on some of the baked goods that popping boba can be used for. But do you find that there are certain baked goods and sweet snacks that are seeing the biggest opportunities for adding it as opposed to others?
Yes, absolutely. And I think what's really unlocked this is giving the ingredient to chefs and to see how they can be creative with popping boba in products or applications that traditionally haven't been known for using popping boba. I mentioned the example of cheesecake, for example, something that you will often see with any kind of fruit sauces or indulgent sauces like caramel or chocolate. With applying popping boba to it, you add a new layer to it of experience. You'll also engage a more traditional dessert with an ingredient that's very popular with millennials and Gen Z. So you can open up existing products to new target groups. You'll also make it visually a lot more appealing and stunning. And I think that way you can really enable products you might already produce or that you have on your menu if you're in food service, and engage with new target groups and find new people to love your products by adding popping boba to it.
And that's what's interesting reading about this, the fact that manufacturers can actually use popping boba to create limited time products or seasonal flavors. But what do you think manufacturers should consider if they want to go this route with popping boba?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. What we've seen is overall in the industry, in snack and bakery, but also beyond all of food and beverage, really the trend to natural flavors and natural colors. We here at Zentis, and specifically for our Culti product line of popping boba, use only natural flavors and colors, depending on our customers' needs. So I think that kind of hits that macro trend of fitting to the expectation of the consumer today. But once we talk about how can someone integrate it or use it, I think there's a couple different ways that we've seen it. One is that you just use the popping boba in itself and apply it at the point of sale or in the restaurant in combination with one of your products already. So you might add it to your portfolio, just like you would do maybe with sprinkles or whipped cream or something else. So it's really an enhancement of an existing bakery item, for example. The other way is if we talk about all the kind of the blurred line between what is a beverage, what is a dirty soda, when is it still something I drink or does it become like a drinkable dessert? I think that's where it's a little bit blurred, but also exciting. So you can add it just straight into your drink or maybe into a sundae as well, which is something that we've seen. So there you get into the area of any kind of, it might be a gelato, it might be something else where you can add it in, or you combine it with a sauce.
Now, has there been any consumer data revealing any interesting ways that people are using popping boba that may have surprised you guys?
Yeah, I think when we really started in the beginning, um, there's all the traditional flavors you associate with boba. It's usually fruity and sweet. We come from that whole angle of beverages initially. Then we were diving into, hey, how can I put it onto yogurts, for example, too? When we talk about snacking, there's now some first yogurts out there in the market that include popping boba in the yogurt. So I think that's also something that surprised us, and we're really happy it works. We're lucky that we have some very good food scientists and chefs on our team who then will work with our partners and develop specifically what that, in this case, the popping boba is that might work with the application or the product you're looking to integrate popping boba to. So it doesn't have to be just food service. I think the exciting piece is we're seeing it in retail now too. And that just speaks to how popping boba has really established itself outside of that niche where we kind of had it honestly for the last 15, 20 years.
What do you feel is the most challenging aspect of expanding an ingredient such as popping boba for a variety of different foods across the market?
I think if I go back in time a little bit, having people try popping boba that are not used to it, that kind of put it in that corner in the first place. Oh, I don't drink these sweet teas or something like that. But saying like, no, 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 I understand where you're coming from. If you would have asked me personally 5 years ago, I would have said popping boba, maybe not my first choice. But since we took it out of that corner, it's been really exciting. For example, we've used different salad dressings in popping boba to add it onto a salad, which at first was something, can we do that? Let's try it. And then it actually really worked well. Another example I can give you is in NA or alcoholic cocktails, where we used a chili mango, so a spicy mango in a popping boba. That really also adds one to the experience and to the flavor mix of something that might already be well known. And I think one exciting example that I would have never foreseen was our chefs cooked up a pickle boba for Bloody Mary. So it's a pickle flavored popping boba that goes into the combination with a Bloody Mary. So I think those are all applications. If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I would have not even maybe thought about. And it's exciting to see how creative people can get with it.
Fantastic. Such a creative product. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Neil Sheda of Zentis, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me show a little bit more insight on using popping boba in different applications, and I'm sure we'll see it in other ways that we haven't even discussed today.
Absolutely. Hope so. And thank you all for watching.